Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। Namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So, from verse 83 onwards, Shankaracharya is talking about the result of self-knowledge, jnana phalam. In verse 83, which we completed in the last class, he gave a basic definition of a Jivan Mukta. He first defined what is meant by knowledge in the context of Vedanta. He said that knowledge, which is called prajna, is in the form of antakarana vritti, whose object is oneness between Jiva and Ishvara, which is in the form of consciousness, free from subject-object duality. And he for whom this knowledge becomes firm is called Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta hai, liberated while living. And we had a detailed discussion on this topic as a prelude to the next sloka number 84, where further qualities of a Jivan Mukta is presented. In the last class, I just read the sloka. I did not explain it. So we will continue from where we left off. We will read the sloka once again. Yasya stita bhavet prajna yasmanando nirantaraha prapancho vismritah prayah sajiva jivan muktah ishyate. Actually, this sloka does not need an anvaya because all the words are in sequential order only. Almost reads like a prose. So the anvaya is yasya prajna stita bhavet yasya anandah nirantarah prapanchah vismrita prayah. You can add bhavet. Saha jivan mukta ishyate. Yasya, whose, prajna, knowledge, stita bhavet, would be clear, well established. Yasya, whose, anandaha, happiness, nirantaraha, is continuous. Prapanchaha, the world, vismrita prayaha, is more or less forgotten. Saha, he, jivan mukta or free, liberated while living, ishyate, is said. So he is said to be a jivan mukta whose knowledge is clear, whose ananda is continuous and for whom the world is more or less forgotten. So he says, Yasya prajna sthita bhaved. A Jivan Mukta is one whose wisdom is very well established. Which means what? He is free from both doubt and habitual thinking pattern or viparita bhavana. He has gained samshaya viparyaya rahita jnana. Once he has gained that, he, in the initial stages, he has to maintain that by regular nididhyasana. In order to, as I said, push the knowledge into the subconscious level. And once that is achieved to a large extent, he can reduce the frequency of nididhyasanam progressively. So maybe initially, like Sandhya Vandanam, 3 times a day he does nididhyasana. Then after some time, once in a day. And later maybe once in a week or once in a month. Because by that time, the knowledge is fully assimilated, the transformation has taken place. He doesn't no longer need to recall, it is become spontaneous for him. Abiding in that knowledge has become spontaneous. And in fact, ultimately, he will not require any exclusive nididhyasana. Every movement is like a nididhyasana only for him. That state is actually called Sahaja Samadhi. Sahaja Samadhi means the one who is ever aware of this teaching, ever aware of his higher nature, who is fully aware in every transaction of his Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. That's it. Thereafter, he does not require any sadhana. He is a Siddha Purusha. That person is called a Jivan Mukta because firstly he is free from intellectual samsara. That I am small, I am limited, that feeling is not there. I will die soon, feeling is not there. Arrival of old age, disease, death are not a disturbance for him. And Yasya Ananda Nirantara, the one who has got permanent happiness, which is available for tapping. He taps that Ananda whenever an occasion arises or requires. Because different occasions require different responses. Even though he has a reservoir of Ananda, he knows when to tap that reservoir. Because suppose there is a sad situation. Let's say somebody has lost someone in the family. And a Jnani, a Jivan Mukta, visits the family. Or other way around, the family is visiting this Jnani. To them, he cannot say, I am Ananda Swarupa hai, I am Mukta hai. All this Jananam, Maranam makes no difference to me and all. That will be very inappropriate for him to say. Therefore, in such situations, being a compassionate person, he will participate in the bereavement of the family. He will share their sorrow. The Ananda reservoir is still there with him, but it does not manifest. So a Jnani being compassionate towards all beings, he will empathize where he has to empathize. When there is a sad occasion, he empathizes with them, shares their sadness also. He feels their sadness also. Because of that only he has empathy. He has empathy, he has sympathy, he has compassion. He will give them help also, whatever he can. And whenever he has to share the joy of others, he will tap into his own internal reservoir. He will invoke joy. Like Krishna says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sukha kshami. In the 12th chapter, he says this. Therefore, what we must very carefully understand, and which is again a big misunderstanding amongst a lot of people, that by gaining this jnanam, by becoming a jnani, one does not become a jadam. Jnanam does not destroy emotions or the emotional faculty of the mind. Because the emotive mind is an asset. We should not lose it. And if jnanam removes that, we should not go after jnanam. We should continue to be in samsara like we are. Because we possess that emotional faculty. It's very important. And that is what Jnani does. He retains that emotional faculty also. In fact, you go to a Jnani, he will not even talk about Jnana. He will move around the world like any other person. Shankaracharya has composed a beautiful text called Jivan Mukta Ananda Lahiri. There are 28 verses. There he explains how a jnani moves with all and brings forth all emotions according to the requirement, the situation. But once he comes to himself in privacy, he is not an emotional wreck. In privacy, he can invoke Ananda whenever he wants. Therefore, here he says, Yasya Anandaha Nirantaraha. Means he has got Ananda all the time, either in unmanifest form or uninvoked form or in invoked form. We must also not think that, oh, because he has got Ananda inside him, he will always be smiling all the time. If he keeps smiling all the time, people will think that there is some problem. In fact, even venture to admit him into a mental hospital. Therefore, a jnani, will be absolutely normal like you and me. Only difference is he has got Ananda available to him all the time. His Ananda is continuously available for tapping. All that he has to do is open that Ananda tap. Atmananda is all the time there. So an Anandamaya Kosha, the Pratibimba Ananda is available for tapping. Yasya Anandaha Nirantaraha. Then he says Prapanchaha Vismrita Prayaha. You can add Yasya. Yasya Prapanchaha Vismrita Prayaha. Vismrita means forgotten. Prapancha means the world. The world is as though almost forgotten. So here again, this expression almost forgotten should be properly understood. It is not the idea that if he is a Grihastha Jnani, he doesn't remember family, spouse, children, etc. Forgets all of them. That's not the idea. It means there is no obsession with the world and worldly things. The world does not occupy the mind, especially the world of raga dveshas, the world of likes and dislikes, which cause emotional turbulence. Because when he sits for meditation or nididhyasana, if family affairs take the center stage, one cannot meditate. And that's called obsession. For such a person, actually the world is not outside. The world is inside, it occupies his mind. So Vismrita Prayaha means he does not allow the world to occupy the mind all the time and create a preoccupation for the mind. Therefore, the world is not an object of obsession. Family is not an object of obsession for him. And that's why, most people find it easy to come to Vedanta in the old age. And that too mostly after retirement. Because practically speaking, if you are actually having a job, and these days, government jobs still better, but private sector jobs, even Saturdays, Sundays, you have to work. But when you are retired, more time is available. And two reasons. One is that you have nothing else to do. You got a lot of time, you're going to office and all that. Now all that is over. So you have to actually go and search for something to do every day. So most people, what they do, they don't know what to do. They will sit in front of the TV, watch the news, and some serials and things like soap operas. And then they will go and sit with friends and chit chat with them, discuss all the worldly affairs on which none of them have any control. They can't change anything, but then it's an entertainment for them. Another reason is generally people leave old people alone. They don't want too much of interaction with the old people. Because old man means he has got a lot of old stories. Right from the time when he was a young man, lot of stories are there, all individual stories. The moment you ask him, how are you? He will start with some 1970 or 1950 when he got employed, and it will go on and on and on. And therefore, nobody has time for these old people. In fact, many times when they see him, they run away. So all this can create loneliness for the old people. Swami Paramathanandaji beautifully puts it. He calls it a federal problem. Federal, federal problem. Fe means fear. What will happen? Will I wake up tomorrow morning or not? I have been having some breathlessness. De means depression. My children they are abroad, they used to call me every day. Nowadays, they don't call at all. And even if I call, they say, they speak for a few minutes and then they say, no, we have got to go. We have got some other meeting or some call and something like that. All this causes depression. Another reason for the depression is I am not in control of anything, including myself. My body is slowly degenerating. I can feel it. I'm not getting proper sleep at night. So this is the DE, depression. RE means regrets. Regrets of the past. I should have done like this. You see, I got that beautiful job offer. I should have taken up that offer. I would have been a different person today. I should not have agreed for my children to go abroad. What so much money they are going to do? They should have lived with us. Here, I've got a nice house. What is wrong in India? Regrets. And all this ends up in L of the federal, low sense of loneliness. Earlier, so many friends used to visit you. You used to have parties at your home. Now nobody comes. Some of them at least call you and say, how are you? But they don't come and meet you, sit with you, chit chat with you. Because they are also old. They are also going through the same problem that you are going through. But ignoring all these things, if one comes to Vedanta, most of these problems, most of these complaints are no longer there. All the time is available at one's disposal. You can use all the time for learning something which very few people in the entire world have an inclination and time to learn. As Shankaracharya says in Sadhana Panchakam, एकांते सुखमास्यतां परतरे चेतः समाधीयतां पूर्णात्मासु समीक्ष्यतां जगदिदं तद्भादितं दृश्यतां प्राक्कर्म प्रविलाप्यतां चिदिबलान् नाप्युत्तरै श्लिष्यतां प्रारब्धं त्विह भुज्यमान् प्रारब्धं त्विह भुज्यतामत परब्रह्मात्मनास्तीयताम्. The Sadhana Panchakam is a very, very beautiful text. 5 stanzas, that's all. I taught this to students in Nana Nani way back in 2018 or before the COVID. Very nice text. So it is not loneliness, it is aloneness. And aloneness is Advaita. You are not lonely. You are alone in the midst of the entire world of affairs. That is what is Advaita. Therefore, prapancha hai, vismrita praya hai. He does not worry about people not coming, not talking over phone. If they call, fine. If they don't call, also it is fine. They must be busy. Therefore, he doesn't get obsessed. Sahajivan muktaha ishyate. He is considered to be a jivan mukta. Continuing, verse 85. Vartamanepi dehesmin chaya vadanu vartini ahanta mamata bhavaha jivan muktasya lakshanam. So here the Anvaya is Chayavat Anuvartini Asmin Dehe Vartamanepi Ahanta Mamata Abhavaha Jivan Muktasya Lakshanam. Chayavat, like a shadow. Anuvartini, following. Asmin, in this Dehe, body. Vartamanepi, even while remaining ahanta mamata abhavaha, the absence of I sense and my sense, jivan muktasya, of the jivan mukta, lakshanam, is the characteristic mark or is the character. So the characteristic mark of a Jivan Mukta is the absence of the I sense and my sense, even while he remains in this world which follows him like a shadow. In the body, not Asmin Dehe, said, no. Yeah, Asmin Dehe. So, as we know, a Jivan Mukta by very definition is a one who is alive. Because Prarabdha continues even after Jnanam. Therefore, the body also continues. Body has got nothing to do with Jnanam, other than the fact that the intellectual faculty, mental faculty is required for gaining that Jnana. Otherwise, the body's conditions are governed by Prarabdha Karma. So, Prarabdha Karma not only influences our present activity, but Prarabdha also influences the conditions of the body. Therefore, a Jnani's body, which also was once youthful, it grows, it also grows old based on the Prarabdha. And in the Prarabdha, Papam is there. A Jnani might not do any Papam now, but he has had also previous Janmas. And those Prarabdha, when they fructify, can create physical problems also. And we have seen Jnanis going through a lot of physical problems. Therefore, the body is an asset, but the body can be a liability also. In fact, if you actually look at it, everything in the world is both an asset and a liability. Every relationship is an asset and a liability also. And that's how, thinking it is an asset, people get married. When it turns to be a liability, they get separated. I'm not saying whether it is right or wrong and all that, right? Just an objective observation, that's all. So everything and every person can become an asset or can become a liability, and that is the nature of the world. So if a body of a Jnani also goes through such experiences, even though he doesn't have a Vishesha Abhimana over the body, but because of Prarabdha, there is a Samanya Abhimana. Therefore, biological pains etc. will be there. But even then, he does not come to the conclusion that I am the body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, in the case of a Jnani, what happens? Even though there are biological pains, the emotional content in the biological pain is taken away. So the pain does not affect him emotionally. That's why he says, Asmin Dehe Vartamanepi. Even though the body, the Sharira Trayam, including Karana Shariram, continues Vartamanepi, in the present, it continues Chayavat Anuvartini. Like a shadow, it keeps on following. This body cannot be physically kept aside. Well, if there is some object causing a problem, I can physically put it aside and escape, at least for some time. But our body, we cannot escape. And therefore, Chayavat, like a shadow. Chaya means shadow. Anuvartini Dehe, the body continues. And throughout, Ahata, Ahanta, Mamata, Abhavaha. He does not have ahankara and claim that I am the body. Whereas he's a jnani, his ego is already diluted. Or mamakara claiming I am the owner of the body. So he does not have ahankara, mamakara. Because the moment ahankara, mamakara come, raga, dvesha will flare up. And the moment raga, dvesha come, objectivity will go away. I will start asking questions. Why is my body getting old? Why am I getting this particular disease? As though it is all special. Everybody gets old. Everybody in old age gets lots of diseases. One cannot complain of diseases also because anything during its degeneration phase will create problems. Body has to degenerate. Therefore, every natural phenomenon I will not complain about. Why? Because aham mama raga dvesha, the dushta chatushtayam, I have actually neutralized. In Nididhyasanam, a jnani has deliberately removed the dushta chatushtayam. I hope you all remember what is dushta chatushtayam. We discussed it about 1 or 2 classes before. Therefore, a jnani is very objective with regard to his body. And he understands this is the law of the world. It is not worth complaining. Complaining will only exaggerate the pain. Therefore, ahanta mamata abhavaha. So as I said, there is no emotional content in his biological pain. Of course, he may not be able to smile. There may be tears because of pain. Tears may be running down his eyes. But there is still inner peace. Inner turbulence is not there. Pain is there. He may groan, he may moan. But there is that acceptance. Yes, this is the law. The body has to go through this. But this problem will also pass away. And if the problem is irreversible, the body will pass away. Accept that also. Anything, anytime, anything can happen. Therefore, even during physical pain, his ananda is not disturbed. In fact, a jnani who is not only in a lot of pain, suffering a lot of pain physically, but in the process, he is also actually giving a lot of pain to others. He may actually decide to voluntarily give up his body. Whatever artificial things are being used to keep his body alive, he may decide to stop all that. That's exactly what Pujya Swamiji did. He was in lot of pain. Every day he has to undergo dialysis. And because of that, there is a very team of people taking care of him, losing their sleep, losing their own family life, etc. Things were not getting better. In fact, they were getting worse every day. So finally, Swamiji said, in fact, first time he said, stop all medication, stop all dialysis. Let my body go through its prarabdha and then whatever happens, let it happen. And that was the time when Prime Minister Modi ji went to Rishikesh, met Swamiji and appealed to him not to do it, not to give up. Modi ji said, we require you. India requires you. So being a compassionate person, Swami ji relented. Some more time. 2 months, 3 months. But then again it became intolerable. So in the final stage, sometime in the month of September 2015, he told everybody, that time he was in the US, he asked them to take him to Rishikesh and leave him alone. They stop all medication, everything. And let us see, my body will automatically go away. See, that much of Jnanam gives you that much of self-confidence. I can leave this body at my will. I will actually overcome the prarabdha. That is the Jnani's glory, rather. Therefore, even during the physical pain, the ananda is not disturbed. He has got inner peace. Because of what? Ahanta, mamata, abhava. Ahankara, mamakara, raga, dvesha, abhava. And such a person is a jivan mukta. He can gracefully grow old. But when people gracefully grow old, the caretakers will lead an easy life. Else not only we suffer, we give problem to everyone in the family. And they will actually be secretly praying that we should die. For our benefit only, it's not with any ill intention or anything. They can't actually see our suffering. They feel so sad about it. And then they will pray to God, Bhagavan, why are you making this noble soul suffer like this? Please take him away. They may not openly pray, but this prayer will be there in their heart. Therefore, as a Jivan Mukta, our presence will be their joy, not a burden. So here is one more description of a Jivan Mukta. So we should remember, a Jivan Mukta is one who has gained Vairagyam before as a part of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. And he has further reinforced that Vairagyam through Jnanam. With that, he enjoyed Jivan Mukti. And therefore, every description refers to either intellectual liberation, that is freedom from intellectual samsara, or emotional liberation. Therefore, we should know when to give credit to Jnanam, when to give credit to Vairagyam. Because both play prominent roles. And therefore, Vartamanepi dehesmin chayavat anuvartini ahanta mamata abhava jivan muktasya lakshanam. So here it is the freedom from self-ignorance and self-misconception at the intellectual level. So he has no misconception. In fact, a jnani does not wait for liberation. Actually, jnani does not seek liberation after death. Why? Because he knows, I am Nitya Mukta. That is the teaching. That you are bound, that you are limited, that you are small. It's a misconception. That's what Vedanta teaches. You are Nitya Mukta. You are Mukta Swarupa. Your very nature is liberation, freedom only. This the Jnani knows. So for him, Prarabdha Karma, Jivan Mukta doesn't make any sense. Jivan Mukta will make sense if you are bound earlier, now you have become Mukta. But you are never Mukta. Jnani knows he is Nitya Mukta hai. Let others call me Jivan Mukta hai. Others will also talk about future Videha Mukti, etc. As far as I am concerned, I am neither Jivan Mukta hai, nor will become Videha Mukta hai. I am Nitya Mukta hai, even when this body is there. This is the highest knowledge which Jnani gains. So it doesn't matter for him at all. Now continuing verse number 86. Atita-nanusandhanam bhavishyad avicharinam bhavishyat avicharanam audasinyam api prapte jivan muktasya lakshanam. The Anvaya is Atita Ananusandhanam Bhavishyat Avicharanam Prapte Api Audasinyam Lakshanam Jivan Muktasya. The word meanings. Atita Ananusandhanam. Not recollecting the past with regret or guilt. Bhavishyat Avicharanam. Not being concerned about the future. Prapte api, with reference to the present also. Audasinyam, objectivity. Lakshanam Jivan Muktasya is the characteristic of a Jivan Mukta. Not recollecting the past with guilt or regret, not being concerned about the future, and being dispassionate with reference to the present are the characteristics of the Jivan Mukta. Acharya is beautifully in one verse, What are all? Like in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha. He explained Jnani's, how he will say it, how I will behave, what will he do. Second chapter, he talks about. Bhagavad Gita students, we have all done that in quite detail. So here, the same thing he talks about Jivan Muktasya Lakshana. So here in this sloka, the Acharya is talking about two beautiful faculties of human beings, which is uniquely well developed in human beings. These two faculties can become a blessing or can become a curse also. Whether it is a blessing or a curse depends upon how I employ them. The first faculty is called Atita Anusandhanam. Atita means past. Anusandhanam means recollection or memory. So the faculty of remembering the past is a faculty a human being has. And the second faculty is Bhavishyat Vicharanam, the capacity to think of the future, visualize the future, project the future, predict the possible problems of the future, and take precautionary measures. In short, plan properly for the future. And this capacity to visualize or think of the future is the second faculty. So the faculties of remembering the past and visualizing and planning for the future, both are great boon. The faculty for remembering the past is a fantastic faculty. In fact, all our transactions are possible because of that faculty only. My talking and your understanding of my talk are because we have done 85 slokas, what all we have learned, you remember. To some extent, we have studied the language, Sanskrit language. We remember the meaning of the words. And that is helping us to progress class after class. If this faculty was not there, every class we will have to start with what? The Mangala Charana, no? Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam. Start like that, every class. Then next class again start. Because we have forgotten what we have done in the last class. It's a different matter. That despite this faculty being there, many people will forget what was taught in the last class. But that's for a different reason. So therefore, because of this faculty, we are able to form and understand the sentences. We have learned some language, some words, meanings. We can put them together. We have memory of the language and meaning of the words. Similarly, if you are able to interact with people, it is because you are able to remember their identity. You have met a person and then second time you meet him, you know, I have already met him. You remember the first time when you got introduced, that person was married and he had 2 children. He was working in a multinational firm. Next time when you meet him, you remember all these things. Otherwise, you will again ask him the same questions. Are you married? Where are you working? How many children you have and all that. So he will think that what is wrong with this fellow? Just yesterday only we met and got introduced. Now today is forgotten everything. Therefore, it is because of this faculty we are able to have an appropriate interaction. And it is because of this faculty that when you meet a brahmachari, you don't ask him a question, how is your wife? Because you are able to know, oh, he is a brahmachari, he is a grihastha, etc. You are able to interact appropriately because the identity is remembered. Even operating the gadgets appropriately, you are able to do because of this faculty. You are able to remember the gadget and its functions. And because of this faculty only, you don't put salt in payasam, the sweet dish. Or sugar in dishes like sambar, etc. So some people do it. That's a different thing for purposes of taste. Because you know what is what. Thus, every transaction is because of Smriti Shaktihi, the faculty of remembering. But in Chandogya Upanishad, 7th chapter, Bhumi Vidya is there. There, the memory, meditation, and its glory is talked about. In all, 14 upasanas are talked about. Not only the glory of the external world, also, but the glory of the various internal faculties are also described. Smaro bhavakashad bhuyah tasmadhyadyapi. Smaraha means memory. Just imagine if there are 10 people standing and all of them have lost their memory faculty, either because of old age or some disease. What will happen? They will simply be staring at each other. No transaction will be possible. Imagine such a life. Only staring is possible. And therefore, memory is a wonderful faculty if it is used properly. But the same memory becomes a terrible faculty if I recollect the past for the wrong reasons. In what all ways different people hurt me. or in what all ways I hurt other people, hurt and guilt. Puja Swamiji says, this hurt and guilt is the core of a samsara. You have to overcome this feeling of hurt and feeling of guilt. As long as that remains, you will be in samsara only, there is no escape. Past regrets. If I am going to remember all of them, life will become miserable. Not only will I lose the present, I will also make the present miserable. Taittiriya Upanishad describes this beautifully, this type of samsara. Kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papam akaravam iti. Why did I not do what was right? Sadhu na akaravam. Kimaham, why I did not? Kimaham papam akaravam iti. Why did I get into all these papa karmas? Regret and worry, the federal problem. Remember, the L is for loneliness. And probably that's why the L also, Swami Paramahansa ji made it a single letter. Because all other problems are made of two letters, Federe. L is single letter. So when I am alone, lying in the bed, I rewind the past events. I regret and feel miserable. Or I worry about the future. I can use my mental faculty very well for planning for my future. How I should spend my time by remembering this teaching, etc. Oh, I have learned so much. Acharya ji has talked about transformation through Nididhyasana meditation. I will make sure that at least 1 hour a day going forward, I spend time exclusively for that. You can do that. I can practice Nididhyasanam and prepare my mind to spend the time wonderfully, even if I am in a hospital. I can prepare myself for a wonderful future. Possible. The faculty will help you to do that. On the contrary, the future can become a curse. If I will imagine, oh, what type of old age I will have. My children are also not around. Should I go to an old age home or remain at my home? What all problems may come at the old age? Because some of the problems at the old age, they suddenly surface. I remember my father-in-law was very fine till he was 80 years old. Then suddenly he was afflicted with Parkinson's disease. And things worsened so much that there came a stage that he could not even stand up or even roll over in the bed. Will that happen to me? All future worries. And I can be very, very imaginative on these lines. I may be only 50 years old, yet I can be worried about what all things will happen in future. Therefore, even the future visualization faculty can be a blessing or it can be a curse also. And a Jivan Mukta is one who has learned to use both faculties beautifully. Therefore, he doesn't regret about the past. Past is gone. You can't do anything about it. He doesn't fear the future also. Therefore, what is left? He enjoys the present. Now I am alive. I can enjoy my glory as taught by the scriptures. I am not a jiva. I am Brahman. I alone, with my Maya Shakti, have created everything. This body may go away. Generations will come. Beautiful children will be coming. They will do wonderful things. And I am going to be there as Brahman, pervading everything, everyone, supporting the past, present, and future. The most important entity in this entire universe, I am. Thus, I can remember the glory of myself, both the Saguna glory as well as the Nirguna glory, with Maya and without Maya, provided I have prepared very well through Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. And that is what this Jnani, the hero of Vivekachudamani, has done. And therefore, Shankaracharya says, Atita Ananusandhanam. Anusandhanam means worry. I told you. Ananusandhanam means does not have any worry, regret over the past. If at all he remembers the past, he remembers the teaching he received in the past. Unlike many of us who will forget what was taught in the last class. But we will remember what happened 40 years ago in our wedding. And in fact, those could be situations or incidences in which we will have regret also. We will vividly remember the quarrel with the spouse. All that we will remember. Anyway, Atita Ananusandhanam means not regretting over the past. And Bhavishyat Avicharanam. Like I said, what will be like my old age like? The more you think, the more worry will come, because we know old age. In old age, degeneration will happen, disease will come. And ultimately, some disease or the other should come as a reason for death. And why should we dwell on all that and meditate on it rather? The Jnani refuses to dwell on that, because he has said, even as a karma yogi, as a regular practice, I have always said, Yat bhavyam tat bhavatu bhagavan purva karmanu rupam. Karma yoga, I said that. Yat bhavyam tat bhavatu, he Bhagavan purva karmanu rupam. And the slogan continues during Jivan Mukti also. So, Bhavishyat Avicharanam. Bhavishyat means future. Avicharanam means not worrying over or fearing over the future. Then, Audasinyam api prapte. So, the first line talked about the past and future. The second line talks about his interactions in the present. The present is very fleeting. What is present is something which you can't define. Even as you define what is present, the present is gone. It has become past. This moment only is the present. Next moment, it becomes past. This is a fleeting moment. He confronts and conducts himself appropriately. He makes sure that he never builds up any raga or dvesha over the present. Because the present can bring, of course, depending on one's prarabdha, beautiful experience. Like if he's a sannyasi, he will get a very nice bhiksha. He may even make a mental note of that host. In future, let me fix more bhikshas there. Thus, even in bhiksha, I can develop raga dvesha. Why? Because the mind has an inbuilt capacity to develop raga dvesha. based on experience of Sukham or Dukkham. And that is why only Lord Krishna gives a warning in Bhagavad Gita. Na prahrishet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha priyam. Priyam prapya, when any good experience come, enjoy all right, but na prahrishet, don't over enjoy and get hooked on to that. Don't develop raga towards that, because that enjoyment will also go away. And that is the nature of pratibimba ananda. It will have to go. And when it goes, you should be able to accept that also. So faculties are there, faculties go away. So na prahrished, agate swagatam kuryat, gachantam na nivarayet. Welcome when it comes, and when it goes, say farewell. And that is the attitude of a jnani, and this is called audasinyam. Okay, we'll stop here. It's time over. I'll continue next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasichyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Hari Om Guruji, thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank
Hari
you.
Om. Thank you very much.
ధన్యవాద గురుజీ హరి ఓం
Namaste. Sorry? I couldn't hear. Somebody
Thank
said.
you, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Okay. Oh, there doesn't seem to be any hands going up. No questions. Good. So we'll close the class. Continue next week. Okay. Hari Om. Thanks a lot.
Hari Om. Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank you.